music can transform people's lives. If someone's from a difficult background, it can give you confidence, it can stimulate the brain in ways that other subjects really don't.
Music is a big part of everyone's lives, whether it's from listening to it through their headphones or producing it. However, recently there have been major cutbacks on the funds that go into music education in schools throughout the country. This means students have to halt their music education, give them less chance to progress.
I think there'll be less students that get an opportunity to take part in music right from when they're very young. At the moment, there have been lessons in junior schools where they have to do an instrument. They do it for about a year, and I think if those lessons start to get cut, there'll be less experience as they come through to secondary school, and therefore it will only be those people who've got the more money that will be able to afford lessons, and therefore as they go through with the GCSEs there'll be limited numbers because people won't have had the experience lower down the school.
Music as a subject could be facing extinction, says Ali Daubney from the University of Sussex. In 2012 to 2013, most schools were offering Music BTEC Level 2 from 166 schools to then falling to only 50 in 2016 to 2017. Alongside that, music has fallen by 6% from 85% in 2012 to 2014 to then 79% in 2016 to 2017. A result to that means that less students are having the chance to follow through their music studies and being forced to take subjects that they might not be as confident with. Bringing their marks down, this could have a major impact on what certain pupils want to do with their future.
It really puts the pressure on parents. Even though a lot of music shops nowadays you can rent instruments, you don't have to buy the instrument outright, and you have the opportunity then, after a few months, if the child isn't sticking at it, to return the instrument. But if you do that for extended periods, it actually works out more expensive than actually just buying it in the first place. And of course there's the cost of the lessons themselves. So that's where the greatest impact would come for parents without sufficient income.
A report made last year by the Education Policy Institute said the proportion of 15 to 16-year-olds in England studying art subjects including music has fallen to the lowest level in this decade due to the government policies and education cuts. The EPI estimated that 19,000 fewer pupils took art subject at Key Stage 4 last year compared to with 2014.
All schools and colleges will be affected because I think their priorities aren't going to be towards music, although I think it does make a difference with who the head teacher is and how important they value music in terms of their curriculum. I would say we're quite lucky here that it is valued, so therefore students are encouraged to take part and that sort of thing. I think if you're in a private school, I think either private schools will fund music education themselves, or they'll just add it to the parents' bills at the end of it. So therefore, they'll carry on in the same sort of way. But I don't think that will have in schools where the budget maybe isn't quite as big, I think there will be more of an impact.
This issue has affected me personally, as due to the Henley College cutting music from their education system, I was not able to choose what I wanted to do, forcing me to take a different subject that I'm not as confident with, stopping the progress I could be doing if I was able to partake in music studies.
Because of the decline in uptake of students wanting to take music at A level, unfortunately there's been a proposal that the course will no longer run. So as from September I will not have a job here, unfortunately. I know it's affected people like yourself, where because we didn't have quite the numbers to make the course sustainable financially, despite people like you wanting to do the course, they decided not to run it. And that's a big disappointment individually, but also culturally. And I'm sure you would have benefited in following an interest that you had. So I think it's a great shame.
I think it will end up going directly down a performance route. I don't think there will be the formal qualifications as much in them. So GCSEs, A-levels, BTECs, degrees in music, I think it'll end up being much more of a performance route, and you're going to be really lucky if you're spotted and you're in the right place at the right time. I think that's a really tricky one for people to try and manage, because the other side is that if there aren't as many people that want to do it, there aren't as many courses offered, and therefore it's a bit of a vicious circle that you'll end up with the courses not being offered because there's not as many people want to do them, and so therefore you're not going to be able to get to study them, or the places become really, really competitive and they can only take, I don't know, 30 people, whereas they were maybe taking double that. I think it's going to become much more competitive and there's not as many options.
The cuts to music education is going to affect not only teachers but students who want to follow their career in the music industry. This means students will be forced to choose other subjects that they might not be as good at, therefore not getting the grades they need to be able to get into either college or university. Music is a big thing in people's lives, so for music to be taken away in education is going to cause crisis on how many new artists there will be in the future and maybe lead to less music around the country.